Welcome back to the further adventures of the monad. In my last presentation, I took a slight detour into the structure and orientation of the triad envelopes that allow us to evolve our consciousness in the cosmic physical kingdom. The take home from that presentation was that there are three fundamental aspects to being a monad. You have to be composed of matter, you are in motion, and you gain consciousness as a result. These three attributes are present in our 9 triad envelopes. Some envelopes are more inclined towards expressing our physical attitude, 49, 47, and 45 to be precise. Others are skewed towards expressing our consciousness nature, 48, 46, and 44. Finally, we have our energy motion attribute. This is most clearly defined in envelopes 47, 45, and 44. I wish you to notice that I have mentioned 2 of these last 3 envelopes twice. Why? Because they occur on 2 triadic planes at once. In their lower manifestation, they are molecular, and in the triad above, they go atomic. This is something I wish to come back to, but for the present, I just wish to say that you can see from my definitions we have 2 gradients running perpendicular to one another. What is found within a triad level is again found between them. Now let me come back to the significance of where an envelope sits on a triad. I said envelope 48 was the envelope on the first triad that was focused more on consciousness matters. But surely that should be the lower mental envelope 47. Isn't mentalism associated with consciousness? It appears not. You come alive when you feel your emotions. It is as if you are suddenly conscious of yourself. So, what is going on in our mental envelope? To answer that question, we have to ask, how does motion energy express itself? The answer is through willpower. So having a mental thought is more than just having a bright idea. You are creating an elemental structure that you are then firing towards your intended target. This may be an issue or a person, but on the mental plane, it is very much like loading a gun and then pulling the trigger. The force of and the likelihood of your idea achieving its results is very much linked to the energy you put behind it. This is what willpower is all about. If the energy motion side of the triad, horizontally or vertically, is about expressing a higher frequency of energies, where is this taking us? Ultimately, it takes us to the next triad. In other words, we climb between the triad levels with the force of our will. When we get to the next level, where do we find ourselves? We are back into the matter-focused attributes of our threefold nature. This illustrates how matter and energy are so closely intertwined and how consciousness is born out of their interaction. I have not even started this presentation yet. So, let us begin now. As an evolving monad, we have migrated from the first to the 4th kingdom of nature. And what is special here is that we now possess an envelope that is capable of storing our individual memories. This is a great advancement in our evolutionary journey. We are self-aware for the first time, and we are able to store up our achievements. But there is a price we pay for this, and it is a very heavy one. For the first time, and the last time, we are alone. What do I mean? In the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd kingdoms of nature, we are part of a group soul. Our experiences were shared with other monads, co-evolving alongside us. This happened in all 3 kingdoms. We also shared the experiences of our co-monads. Ever wondered how termites, bees, or flights of geese seem to be functioning as a single unit? It is because they are a single unit. They just happen to be manifesting as separate organisms. Their consciousness fields, however, are operating as a single unit. To become self-aware, we have first to come to know ourselves. To know ourselves, we have to separate ourselves off from other monads. In the process, we come to know the I in our personality. This does not develop immediately. If you look at younger societies, they first focus on a family unit. They don't see themselves as individuals. They see themselves as we. We call this the one young soul. They then move into larger groupings, and I call these monads two community souls. They are more independent than the young souls, but they exhibit a very strong groupthink. The young soul sees their identity within a family group. The community soul thinks in terms of us, our clan, our village. This defines us. By the time we reach the 3 cultured phase of our development, we define ourselves through culture. We may be dislocated from others around us, but are still able to function as a coherent unit. What has happened in this process? We have come to define our I-ness. We see ourselves as being separate from all other human beings. We see ourselves as unique. I have interacted with young souls who, when asked what their name was, gave me the name of their village or clan, not a personal name. Interestingly, the community soul is more likely to identify with a family name than a clan, even if they now function more like a clan than a family-orientated young soul. If you asked a New York investment banker what his name is, he may not even consider it important to give you his surname. He stands in splendid isolation from the rest of humanity as he sets out to screw the rest of us. This is not the end of the story. From the 3 cultured soul, we evolve into the 4 compassionate soul. We now realize that we have our own unique identity, but we also realize that we share our humanity with others, and we seek to expand our consciousness to include them in our calculations. We are going back to the us rather than being locked in our selfish I. What I wish to make clear is that there is nothing wrong with being a New York investment banker. There is not much right in it either. It is just a stage we have to go through. It is a process by which we come to know ourselves, to realize we are unique. To achieve this, we need to separate ourselves off from our fellow monads, to see ourselves as being different. This has been a very easy exercise for us human monads, as we are intrinsically repulsive, as I have mentioned before. So, to define the gift of our causal body is to say, we come to know that we exist separate from others, that we are an I. This is the defining of us as a monad. The price we pay for this realization is becoming separated from our co-evolving monads. Our consciousness has gone from being shared amongst all other monads of our clan unit, be it a stand of trees or a herd of bison, to just being contained within our 3 lower triad envelopes. But there is the other half of our mental envelope. It exists on the 2nd triad. And it is what makes this whole evolutionary process and separation possible. We then gain 5 enlightenment. We actually move our monad from the 47-4 permanent molecule that we inhabited as a 4 compassionate human to the 47-1 permanent atom. We are still confined within our personal series of envelopes, but we voluntarily engage with the rest of humanity, subsuming our needs for the greater good. We realize that we may be separated monads. We know this as materially no monad touches another, yet there is a part of us that extends beyond us, and that is our consciousness field. That field can coalesce with other monads' consciousness fields, and that is the next great step a monad takes as it leaves its isolation and returns to group consciousness. However, this time it knows who it is, but still shares what it knows with its soul group. Notice that when I mentioned how we function in the first three kingdoms of nature, I said that we were part of a group soul. Now I am saying we evolved towards existing in ever larger soul groups. The term soul refers to our causal envelope, not us. We take the contents of this envelope and merge it with other souls and form a group. I could take this story further and discuss where we go from here, but I wish now to return to envelopes as they are constituted in the fourth kingdom and discuss how they interact. See you next time. Thank you.